If you're going to Cartagena, Colombia, you should be prepared for some scams and street peddlers like this guy. They tend to congregate around this gigantic clock in the center of Old Town. And to prevent you from becoming a sucker, I went into this bar adjacent to the plaza and did a stakeout, recording all of the scams I saw for 2 hours. The first thing you'll notice is how aggressive these street peddlers are. They'll literally follow you around after you tell them no multiple times. And while that's technically not a scam, what is a scam is making up a price based on your appearance and whether or not you're a local. Wearing shorts is a dead giveaway you're not from around here, as the locals like to wear pants in 90-degree weather. And this Gringo discriminatory pricing applies to any street vendor who doesn't clearly list their prices, and in taxicabs too. So only spend your money where they list the price before you make a transaction or have it agreed upon before the sale. And speaking of taxis, do not trust these guys outside of these non-yellow cars offering to give you a ride. Real taxis are yellow and say Servicio Público on it, and they're much less likely to rip you off or get kidnapped. These people are getting into a sketchy white cab, so they're going to at least pay more than they have to or get robbed of all their belongings. You'll also find these colorful women with fruit on their heads who are more than happy to have their pictures taken as you lay on the floor to get the perfect angle. Just be aware that they expect a tip. I read somewhere it's dependent on how many fruit ladies are in the photo. This one's demanding a tip from this poor woman here who has to go in her purse and fetch out some money. Another photography scam is when a local will ask you to take their photo, and then when you hand the camera back to them, they'll deliberately drop it on the floor and demand you pay them money for it. Some of these peddlers are much less aggressive, like these three guys showed up half an hour into my stakeout. I'm pretty sure they're paid hourly because they were just goofing off and drinking the whole time. This guy got upset for some reason and just threw his beer on the ground. Maybe it's because they didn't sell a single hat in the hour and a half I observed them. That's why I'm pretty sure they're paid hourly, because they weren't even aggressive about it. Also watch out for counterfeit goods like the sunglasses this guy is peddling. While they are cheap, they offer no UV protection, so you'll have to get your eyes replaced down the road. You'll also want to be on the lookout for these free tours. So you'll obviously be expected to tip them, maybe say $10 US at the end. But the catch is, during the tour, they'll bring you to local businesses where you'll feel pressured to buy something because you're there for 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure they must get kickbacks from those local businesses. It looks like this family of 4 just got recruited for one of these with their 2 dogs. At nighttime, it gets a lot more crowded and is where the performance scam artists come out to play. You'll find them on the other side of this arch. There's a whole nother plaza down that way where even more scams and activities take place. Alright, so this one wasn't too bad. It was just a standard group performance, no pressure to tip until the end where they'll come around asking for tips. This guy used a drone to record them so he didn't have to pay for anything, which was pretty smart. There was a much worse version of this, though, that I read about, where people will individually target you and play boomboxes, and then if you engage at all, they'll demand a tip. Maybe they were too busy dressing up like Santa Claus and harassing these people here instead. But overall, I didn't see too much, and Cartagena is very welcoming, just like this woman. They even have a pretty strong police presence, so if you do get ripped off, you can just tell one of these police officers. Hopefully they understand English. I think a lot of the stuff I read online about these scams is just blown out of proportion and people make it up to get clickbait so people read blogs and click on ads. The only 2 things I would take away is don't engage with anyone unless you're willing to tip. Nothing is really free in this world. And 2, just understand you may get charged higher prices on the street if you don't ask for the price beforehand. Always do that before making a transaction. Other than those 2 tips, I really didn't see any scams or anything to be that concerned about. Making this entire video just clickbait and a waste of your time. Thanks for watching until the end.